prosperity, family. Rob Black Storm. I'm out here in nature, sitting under my favorite tree. What I want to talk to y'all about today is I want to talk about these gender wars, these things that I see popping up because now the riots have stopped, the looting has stopped, the companies have came out, and things have sort of subsided, right, over the last week or so with respects to some of the chaos that was happening. Now we know people are blowing up, fireworks left or right if you live in the city or you live in an urban area. Uh, so that does contribute to some of the chaos, but we have our own internal chaos that has left the physical realm, so to speak, for the most part. And the eternal chaos is the gender wars. And the gender wars is black men ain't shit. The gender wars are black women ain't shit. The gender wars are basically us pitting us against each other. And this is due to hurt. This is due to pain. This is due to trauma. Now, especially with Neptune coming in and Mercury being retrograde, along with all the other planets that are currently in retrograde, currently 5 planets in retrograde, a lot of people will be revisiting their past relationships. They'll be revisiting their past trauma, and they'll be revisiting their past hurt. This is all systematic, right? This is all part of the cosmos. This is the cosmos doing. Now, why is the cosmos, why are these retrogrades happening? Why is everything that's happening in the world going the way it is? And my position on the gender wars is that everyone has a story. Everyone has a story with pain behind it, right? I have stories. They have the term toxic masculinity. Well, I have stories of toxic femininity all day, right? I could write a book on toxic femininity. I could write a book on women doing me wrong. I could write a book on ways I've been hurt, manipulated, and been preyed on even by women, been dealt with narcissists that were women, right? And I'm sure women have these stories of pain and heartbreak, which they express openly on the internet, right? Now, this is not, I'm not creating this to nullify a woman's pain or nullify a man's pain. And I'm not saying this to say that you shouldn't express what's on your mind, and you shouldn't express how you feel about something, and you shouldn't express what's going on in your day-to-day life and the changes that you want to see, right? The only way to heal is to reveal. So there's nothing wrong with revealing it. What happens though, what happens after you reveal what's wrong, right? What happens after you reveal what's wrong? Again, everyone has stories. Everyone has stories. Everyone has pain. Everyone has, and people's stories are different. Some people have been molested. Some people have been raped. Some people have been physically abused, right, in domestic situations. Some people have dealt with people that were toxic emotionally, toxic mentally, manipulators, scammers, users, right? And I'll tell you a story. A couple of months ago, I met this woman on a website, right? We talked on the phone, video chatted, cool conversation, laughed, joked, everything was going great, right? It was just a couple of months ago. And so we decide to meet up, right? We make arrangements to meet up. I go meet with the young lady. And as I meet with the young lady, so we had a conversation beforehand. We was going to drink, maybe light a tree, things that people do when they meet each other and they want to kind of, just loosen up, have some fun, all right? So she mentioned getting liquor, all right, which is no problem. I have no problem. I'm not a trick, but I have no problem being a gentleman, all right? So I was like, no problem. I'll get some liquor for us, Then she mentioned, the tree. I was like, no problem. I'll get the tree for you. You know what I'm saying? Then she mentioned liquor. So I'm like, okay, you have something on the liquor? Because now it's like, no, I'm sorry. She mentioned food, right? And the food is where we're going to go with this story. So she mentioned getting food. So I'm like, all right, you're not cooking? Like, you're not making any food? Because I'm like, damn, I'm buying the liquor and I'm buying the trees. Like, you don't have food? That's how I'm looking at it, right? Because I'm not a sucker for love, and you're not going to take advantage of it. So she's like, nah, times is rough. I lost my job, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, okay, I understand. You lost your job. You're not bringing any money in, X, Y, Z. She tells me the story. Okay, so I said, no problem. I could buy you some food. Okay? So if you do a basic calculation in your head, right, with food, liquor, a tree, just off basics, that's $60 off the top, right? Which is not a problem because we had a good conversation. Shit was flowing smoothly, I thought, right? And it's not a problem, But would I rather have not spent the $60? Of course, anybody, and vice versa. If it was a woman on the shoe, she don't want to spend $60 on a man, right? But no problem. If I'm gonna meet you, I'm gonna feed you. We gonna enjoy ourselves. No problem. Let's do it, right? So we meet finally. Now I'm just giving you a story of toxic femininity. Toxic femininity says toxic masculinity is what everyone wants to talk about. So we meet. When we meet, we have a conversation. Things is going okay. So there's a line because of the corona. There's a line outside of the liquor store, right? So I'm on the line with her at the liquor store, and I'm like, all right, what we going to eat, right? Well, what do you need to eat? And she's like, oh, we could get some food at the Chinese store. I'm like, okay, that's cool. We can get some food at the Chinese store. And so we're on a line, and she's like, I'm like, but so I tell her, I said, I probably got to get some cash. Now, me, I don't go into situations with new women with cash on, only because I know people who've gotten set up that way. So I might only have like $10, $20 cash, especially if I need a new woman, right? Because you could get set up. It happens out here in New York. Don't think it doesn't happen. Don't think people haven't gotten set up. Guys just don't talk about it, but it does happen, okay? So I go, I only have like $20 on me in cash. So I'm like, all right, I could get the liquor, So I'm like, what you drink? She's like, Remy. Now, mind you, I just met her, right? She's talking that Remy talk, okay? And on the line, she's like, yeah, we should get that big bottle, right? Now, the bottle is $80, okay? So I tell her straight up, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's like, oh, you being cheap. She's like, oh, you being cheap. I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's what I tell her. I don't tell her I can't afford it. I don't tell her nothing like that. I just tell her I can't do it, right? So she's like, well, you probably need to take some money out because we're going to need to get enough money for me and my son. She said me and my children. I said, I know you had kids, but I know you got 2 kids, but I'm not feeding you 2 kids. Straight up like that. And then I said, do we have a misunderstanding? I said, huh? She's quiet. I'm like, huh? We got a misunderstanding? She's like, no. I was like, nah, we got a motherfucking misunderstanding. I said, I ain't no sucker for love. I don't know what you thought this was, but this ain't that. You understand? And I just spun off and left the ass standing there on the line. So I'm saying all this to say that everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. Man, woman, dog, with the dog owner got stories, right? The dog owner probably did some shit. Like that girl Amy Cooper when she had that dog choking up, right? Because she was trying to get that black man locked up. The dog got a story. Everyone has a story with them getting abused or hurt by someone of the opposite sex. The thing is, are you going to, this example, learn from your past mistakes? Because maybe 10, 15 years ago, that game could have been ran up on me, right? Especially her guilting me, talking about, oh, you cheat, right? That game could have probably been ran up on me maybe 10, 15 years ago. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I was much more naive and much more open-hearted, right? So are you going to assess your relationships that you had in the past Write down the good qualities in them and write down the bad qualities in them and see what you have missed when you met them, what you may have overlooked, what you may not have paid attention to, or are you just going to dwell in the pain? Dwell in, oh shit, black women, oh, in my example, oh, black women did this, black women are fucked up. Oh, I keep dealing with black women put me in this situation. Or whatever, women keep putting me, whatever race, women keep putting me in this situation. Women keep making me hurt. Women keep blah, blah, blah. How do I solve that problem? Now, some people have chosen to solve the problem by becoming gay, by becoming lesbian, by being with the same sex. But guess what? It doesn't change, because lesbians and gay people have the same motherfucking issues. All right? It's just that they're lesbian and gay. But they go through the same hurt, the same betrayal, the same pain, deal with the same narcissists, deal with the same abusers. It just happens to be same sex. So the thing is, how do you heal? What do you do to heal? What do you do to transform and transmute this energy and this hurt? First and foremost, again, you have to analyze these relationships. You have to look at them from a critical lens. And you have to also take accountability, because you chose to be with this person. Whether they manipulated you, whether they weren't straight up, whether they weren't honorable, whether they switched up in the middle, you still chose that person initially. So you have to ask yourself, what red flags did I miss in the beginning? What things should I have looked at in those past relationships for the future? Because if you don't assess the past, it's just like you not knowing your history. If you don't know your history, then you can't know the future. If you don't study the lessons of the past, then the lessons of the past will repeat themselves. So a lot of people just go from relationship to relationship to relationship. Or they don't go on relationships, they'll wait. But they'll get in a similar relationship, right, with a different person, but it's a similar characteristics, because they have not assessed what went wrong in the past. They have not assessed what happened in the old relationship. They have not taken a step back and looked at those relationships from a bird-eyed view and saw not only what they did wrong, right? Because it's very easy to cast blame. It's very easy to point the finger in both situations, to blame men, to blame women, right? It's very easy to do that. That's the easiest thing in the world, to cast blame, to point the finger at someone else. But when do you do that to yourself? When do you look at yourself and say, damn, I should have saw this red flag, or damn, I should have did this different, or damn, I should have looked at it this way, or damn, this person wasn't for me. What part of myself, my authentic self, is another thing. What part of my authentic self was I hiding from the world so that this could happen to me? Because that is a big thing, right? People hiding who they really are and what they really are so that they could please someone else. They suppress themselves. And a lot of us have done it, suppress their true selves so that they could please somebody or have someone else in their life. And then the real you comes out and then there's a clash. Or the real them comes out and then there's a clash. Did you do due diligence? Did you ask enough questions? Right? Did you see the red flags that you saw before in another relationship and ignore them? These are things that you have to ask yourself sincerely, because this world that we live in is not all full of good people, unfortunately. It's just not. But these people that are quote unquote not good are challenges to be overcome. There are obstacles to be overcome. And once you overcome these obstacles, you are able to develop spiritual power. And that spiritual power comes in the form of insight. Insight. Okay? The Trinity, right? 2 eyes and a third eye. Insight. Okay? So you'll be able to see these red flags before they come. You'll be able to see these situations before they occur. You won't be a sucker for love. right? You won't fall in love, you will stand in love. And this is just a formula for you to really look back and look at these relationships and look at these things that you're stepping into and look at these people that you say you love and look at these people that you say are soulmates and twin flames and really, really assess, is this person the right person for you? Is this situation the right situation for you to be in? And have I looked back at my past and been accountable for my own actions, or am I just pointing the finger to blame someone else while not looking at what I did, what I chose, and what I allowed? Did I set the boundaries in the relationship of things that because once you're authentic, there's going to be certain boundaries you're going to set in any relationship, a friendship, a best friendship, and especially it should be an intimate relationship. But being that they are intimate, a lot of times we get caught up. The sex is good, if the person is funny, if the person buys us nice things, right? The person says the sweet nothings in our ear, we can get caught up. But if you look at things circumspectly, holistic, through the totality, right? And when we notice the red flags, we address them immediately. When we notice things, the boundaries being going over, we don't just let it slide. We address it immediately. No matter how our emotions feel, we use our logic and say, we're going to override these emotions and use our logic in order to protect ourselves. Sorry, bugs trying to eat me up. So I just wanted to drop this here today because a lot of people are gender warring out here. And now is not the time for it. Now's the time that we, especially black and brown people, and the people that are indigenous to these lands, need to stand together, because it's not going to get any better as time goes on. Especially this year, things are only going to get worse. We're coming up in a wartime period with Mars entering Pisces, and who knows what that will bring, right? So we all need to be prepared to form allegiances, right? If you got a team of all girls, guess what? You're going to fail because you need that masculine energy. You got a team of all men, guess what? You're going to fail because you need that feminine energy. We need to balance each other out. Just like you have a left brain that does something totally different than what your right brain does, right? But they both come together. Once you fire them and rewire them through your thoughts and your intentions and your actions, they both come together to enlighten you. To open up that third eye and decalcify that pineal gland. Just like there's a yin and yang in life, there's a masculine and feminine. And both principles are necessary for growth and development. So I just wanted to drop this quick video about that. I'll probably be going live. Well, who knows? But I just want to drop this quick video about that. The gender wars. Stop gender warring. If your friends are gender warring, just let them know. If you think there's no good men out there, then guess what? There's no good men out there. If you think there's no good women out there, then guess what? There's no good women out there. It all depends on your perspective. And just because you failed, in relationships 4, 5, 6, 7 times, doesn't mean that 8th time is not going to be the winner. Doesn't mean that 9th time is not going to be a winner. You have to allow people to present who they are and come at people with an open mind so that they could allow, even dating. Like, I'll talk to women and I could already tell they've been programmed by the internet, by social media. I could hear the memes sometimes and shit that they say. I could literally hear a direct meme, right? Because they've been programmed to put all these guards up instead of just accepting who I am and then assessing who I am, right? So instead of just accepting who I am and assessing who I am. So really look at these past relationships now, especially that we're in a retrograde season. Look at your past relationships. Look at the things that you went through with other people and look at your part in them as well. Look at what they did. Look at your part and be accountable. All right, so this way when you meet somebody else, not only can you see what it is that's wrong, but you can see what else is right, and you can get the things that you need in the relationship instead of being or feeling like no one, no black man or no black woman is good out here. Like, that doesn't make sense. There's billions of people on this planet. And we live in the yin and yang. So there is someone out there for you. Multiple people, actually. Peace, power, prosperity. Rob Blackstorm. Like, share, subscribe.